All right, this is Burn This Book, a podcast where we, Nicole and Eden, read a banned or challenged book twice a month and discuss its meaning, impact, and censorship to make it more accessible for all readers. This week's book is Forever, ellipses, by Judy Blume, which was published in 1975.
Okay.
So joining us today is Alyanna Padilla. Okay. Calling in from LA. Alyanna, tell us about yourself and your connection to the book. But also, Alyanna has been on our podcast before. She was in season 1, I believe, when we did Ocean Vuong's book. And we love talking to her. She's like so thoughtful, so interesting, and she works really hard to like understand the book and contribute. So it's like an honor for us to have you back. It's really kind. Seriously, you take it seriously, and I just feel really, really grateful for you. And your brain is beautiful. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this book. So yeah, Alyanna, if you want to give us a recap of who you are again, in case people didn't hear that episode, and why you cared about sharing your thoughts on this book.
Wow, what an intro. Now I feel like this one is just like not going to be as good because the first
I have
one was
no notes
good.
today.
I was like, okay, I will see where we go. Okay, yeah, my name's Alyanna. I'm currently based in LA, but I grew up in Pennsylvania. Consider myself a avid writer, reader. LA really suits me because I love living in a big city, the beach, the weather, that's what you pay for while you're here. And yeah, I feel like that's that. I feel like my job is boring, and that's not really part of my identity, but that's okay. But yeah, I feel like I'm really suited for the LA lifestyle, like the fitness, wellness journey. Like that's all. It's very LA, but it's very me. What can I say?
Why this book?
From PA to LA.
From PA to LA.
With like a brief stint in Utah, but that was not by choice. Why this book? Yeah, so I was like a big Judy Blume head when I was younger, but I actually like I don't know how familiar you are with all the rest of her books, but I was very like I loved the Fudge books. Like those were the ones that like I think I read all of them.
Yes.
And I remember at the time I was reading those, I knew about like this book and Deanie and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And at the time that I was reading those ones like felt like too adult for me or something. They were just like weren't really, I feel like at the time that I felt like I could be reading them, like when I was, a little older, I was just like not really interested in like her writing anymore. Like at that point I was like, well, I feel like I outgrew her. But then I like came across these ones because the movie Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was so good, and like I loved it, and that just like made me jump back into like, as silly as it sounds, I was like, well, now I want to read that. And then I did read like Deanie, and then I read this. And I don't know if you've watched Judy Blume's documentary.
No,
about her. It's so good. I feel like it came out around the same time as Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
I think
so
it
just
did
like
too.
Yeah, so just like watching that, I feel like I was just like I had like a new appreciation for her as like a children's book author, and for a book like this that I feel like really pushed the envelope with like books about sex, like for teen girls. And like I was just like really impressed that like, well, it's just so funny to me that I feel like this book has been challenged for like, or this is a banned for so long. Like I feel like it was like immediately banned when it came out. And like, I mean, I don't know the actual history, but I do remember that was part of the documentary, that this book in particular. And so I just like really loved it. I just think it's so sweet. And it is a book that I was like, I do kind of wish I read this in high school. Like I do think, even though it's like, I feel like I would, I don't know, because I feel like when I was like a teenager at that point, you kind of feel like you outgrew like Judy Blume.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of books, because she's like a children's author. But I just like never really knew that she did have these like And I know she has like adult books too. But yeah, I just like, I don't know. And it was funny because I can't remember when it was, but it was like someone at church that I like got in like a little bit of a debate about over this book
No
Really?
because
way.
yeah, and so I don't remember like the specifics of it, but yeah, she was talking about how like, well, like my teen daughter like shouldn't be reading those. I was like, in my head, I was like, she's probably reading a lot. There's, you know what I mean? Like the kind of books that like teen girls are reading about sex is just like way more than like
Uh-huh.
what's
Yes.
in here. And it was just funny because I was like, well, I have read these books and like I do think there's like nothing wrong with them. And it's crazy to me that they're banned. And she was like, well, it like makes it was wild. It was a wild conversation.
I hate that. Yeah, that's so uncomfortable though.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't mean to like I was like, I don't know how we got on this, but now I'm like heated talking to you about this.
Oh, that's so relatable.
It was crazy. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun like reading those kinds of books again. I don't know if you guys watched Are You There, God Is Me, Margaret? But it is
Yeah.
excellent. I loved
We
it
Loved it.
did.
so much.
Oh, they
Are You
did
There,
such a good
God?
job. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Eden.
Yeah. So I first read that for this podcast, and that was my first ever
Mm.
Judy Blume.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because
Oh,
I've not read any other Judy Blumes before. Not because like it just never crossed my path, I
yeah.
think. And yeah, reading Forever, I expected it to be at the Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret age group, and then realizing very quickly, like, oh wait, no,
Mm-hmm.
this is definitely high school.
Oh,
Definitely high school.
Yeah.
yeah. I think what's so interesting too about her is that she is like strangely timeless.
Yeah.
Like, even though her
I was
books are
thinking
like
that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're so deep in like that the current culture of when it was written. Like the references are the clothes, the slang, but somehow it like the themes have not changed at all. Like how
Mm-mm.
we're still
Mm-hmm.
approaching female sexuality has really not changed
Yeah.
since she wrote
Yeah.
it in the 1970s. And I
Mm-hmm.
loved how they did the movie it's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, because they kept it in the 70s, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
late
Yeah.
60s.
I
They
think
kept it
so.
in the era that it was written, but
Mm-hmm.
it felt so which made it feel, like, really authentic and genuine,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Yeah,
also
for
felt
sure.
really timeless. Like, I don't it's a really amazing skill. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I felt the same when I was like rereading this too in like preparation for this. I was
Yeah.
like, even this, I was like, this, because it's like high school love doesn't really change. Like, that's also
No.
timeless. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if you're that age, you're still feeling those same things.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's way more complicated now that like there's just so much else to distract yourself from. But like,
Totally.
even in high school, like, that's still the most important thing. And I just, yeah, it made me like reminiscent of like my high school experience. And like, it was just like so sweet. But yeah, I feel the same about her writing style that I'm just like so impressed that, yeah, these books still feel like relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Let's give a
Yeah.
quick synopsis before we
Mm.
dive even deeper.
Okay.
We usually have the guests do that, but
Oh,
you let me you will let me know if you want one of us to do that.
no, I guess I can do it.
Gosh.
So but oh, I'm like,
Let's do
what are
like
their names
a
again?
30-second recap.
Okay. So this
Catherine
book
and
is
Michael.
about Catherine and Michael. I saw that. Oh, rough.
You're
As
doing better than I would, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, Catherine and Michael, they start dating, and I believe it's like Catherine's like second boyfriend, but the first time that she really is in love, and she's narrating it. And so we like see their relationship from the beginning to when it starts to get more serious, and these feelings that she's like never had before towards a boy, and she's having them. And it's like really sweet for the most part. Like, I feel like in terms of like how the sex is being talked about, and yeah, it just goes through like their relationship during their senior year, and like it ends with like the summertime and when they're both like ready to go to college. And I feel like that's also a very like natural thing that happens, where it's like at the time you think it's forever, her parents are like a little unsure of like spending all this time with this boy, but again, it's like the most important thing to both of them, and it's just like a really sweet story about like high school love.
Mhm.
Was that fine?
And yeah,
That seemed like
No, that was perfect.
okay.
That was perfect.
Yeah, general impressions. Do you mind if I hop in right now with my
Please,
impressions?
please.
I would love to hear.
I absolutely loved this book. Uh, I think my Goodreads review is just I'm in caps lock awe of the fact that this was written in the 1970s. I think just blew me away. And when I finished the book, I was actually looking for a boy equivalent of this, a teenage boy equivalent. Because like I feel like I don't know, some of the a lot of the YA novels I've read for from the male perspective is mostly still just like, oh yeah, she's hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel nervous around her. She's hot. Like just um but I feel like this, and I like, because I do have like a daughter and a son, I am thinking more of like, how do I have a balanced approach to sexuality with the both of them, to discussing sexuality. And like this book, I feel like I could just easily hand to Mabel once she's a teenager and like experiencing her first love, and be like, hey, like read this, and let's talk about it when you're done. And I just wish there was like a teenage boy equivalent that I could pass to Kirby as well and be like, please read this, like, and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a good mom.
She's so
That's so
intentional. It's so
sweet. Yeah.
beautiful.
But yeah, because like I feel like Michael, as much as like he's presented as like a really sweet boy, there are elements of him, he feels really pushy when it comes to like having sex. And like that feels like a good enough conversation to have with my daughter, to be like, okay,
For sure.
if a boy, when you want to have sex, you need to make sure you don't feel pressure to do it, and that you actually do want to do it. Like eventually Catherine does come to that point where she does want to do it, but it was hard to tell, like, does she want to do it, or is it because like this is the billionth time Michael's like, come on.
We just wore her down.
Yeah.
And they just get like closer and closer to it like every time they're together.
Definitely. Yeah. But anyway, and then I was also like blown away by the discussion of Planned Parenthood as well.
Oh, that section was amazing.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that part too. And again, I was like, this is wild to me that like in the 70s, she's like talking about this. I was like, I was just, also blown away. I was like, she's so cool for doing that.
So cool. Yeah.
So cool, so real. I mean, she says like she pretty much like wrote this for her daughter, right? Like, because at the time, I think her daughter was around the same age or something. I remember reading like the intro of the book.
Yeah, her daughter had only read books. It felt like there were only books where when teen girls had sex, where something horrible would happen.
Yeah.
Like the girl would die, or it would cause huge rupture in the community. Like it was never like a normal
unplanned pregnancy or
thing. Yeah, it was always like a really detrimental scandal. And so Judy Blume was like, yeah, that's not actually real. We should actually write something. I need girls to read something where like if they choose to do this, then it doesn't mean their life ends. Yeah.
It could mean something good. Like,
it could mean
for
that
you and like, and that, you know, you did take this step with this boy that you really loved, and they both like really love each other, I think is like what is so sweet about it. Cause no part of it is like, you know, girl has sex with this guy and regrets it, or the boy's just like sleeping with whoever and like, it's like very real. And yeah, it's just like such an honest and like sweet. Look, I keep using that word. It's like sweet,
It
but
is
it
sweet.
is.
Yeah.
It's
It
so
is sweet.
sweet.
It was interesting to
Yeah.
me because I did not like it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I read it and I was like, it was like so cringy for me. There were parts, we'll get into it, where I was like almost too embarrassed to read it. And like not because I had like shame, like, oh my gosh, I can't. We're gonna get into it. So okay, so there's this
Yeah.
part where Michael names his penis.
That
Yeah.
was tough. That was tough for me. That was
That
tough
was
for
tough.
me.
What did he name it? Like Royal?
Ralph.
Ralph.
Oh,
Ralph.
Ralph. So then and, like, the way they would talk, like, the way they would, like, be, like, sexy would be like, "Ralph really misses you."
Yeah,
And I,
that
like,
part was
hated that
bad.
so much. Like, it was like I was blushing, but not in, like, a prudish way, but in, like, a, "This is, like, more cringe than anything I've ever experienced. I cannot keep moving forward in this space." And it made me feel so, like, ugh, these people are
That
so
is so
freaky.
funny.
And I,
But
like,
is it
immediately
high school?
I pictured them on, like, the school bus being that couple that, like, is always has, like, their hands in each other's pockets. Do you remember in high school how there was always a
Yeah.
couple that was just always, and that's where that my mind went in that, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably how that," like, it just went into a really judgy place on my part. I didn't have a lot of grace for them. And then the second thing, that was, yeah, that was, like, cringe town USA for me, but I loved how, like, one of the big conflicts in the book is that her parents are pretty, they're very protective of their daughter, obviously, and they are kind of freaked out that she's starting to make plans for her future around this boy when she's only in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like they hate the boy, but they're just like, this is too serious and you're too young to have it be this serious, which I think is a feeling that a lot of teenagers feel, and that conflict with their parents. I thought that it
Mm-hmm.
was so realistic. And yeah, I like that is kind of the big conflict, that confusing relationship with the parents and kind of finding your own voice in it. And then she realizes that she actually isn't going to plan her life around Michael, and
Mm-hmm.
she meets someone else at camp and starts dating them, which is
Theo.
very,
Right? Is that his name?
very realistic. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I really appreciated that journey because I really hated the parents at first. I was like, just chill out. Let it take its time. Let it take me, get through its lifespan, this relationship, instead of being so aggressive about it, antagonistic about it rather.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then it does, and the parents are, like, so lovely. I don't know, I thought it was really realistic. Everything was really realistic, and I appreciated that. But the cringe factor, I was like, "Judy, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have
I
to have
think
the Ralph section."
I think some of those like she did.
No!
Okay, maybe not Ralph in
I
particular,
don't know, maybe
but some
a
of
different
those
name. Yeah.
yeah, well not even we don't need to do a name. I think that part could have gone out the window. But I
Yeah.
think in terms of like the cringy parts, I'm like,
Yeah,
well, when I think about certain things about high school, that
yeah.
is cringy. Like,
for
it
sure.
totally is. And so those parts of it, I feel like I wasn't that part. I was like, this is ridiculous. But I feel like for the most part, I was like, this is so high school. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
cringy now, but I was like, but again, like you said, it's like realistic. Like that's
it's so
how
realistic.
you feel. Like those, like it's just like it feels like overwhelming and like this is the most important thing like
Yeah,
in your life because at the time it is like
Mm-hmm.
it's the biggest thing that's happening. It's like all you can think about.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, girl, I get it.
Girl, we
I
all
think
do embarrassing things for boys.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I appreciated about that um plot point with the parents of them sending her away to be a camp counselor. I kind of took a note in parenting from that of like, okay, like these parents survived it and their daughter came out in the end like learning the lesson that they wanted to teach her, which was, hey, like this feels like forever now, but there is so much more life ahead of you that like your forever shouldn't end here. So like look outside. There's so much more to the world than Michael, even though it doesn't feel like that right now. And I'm gonna send you away to this sleepaway camp, and you're gonna hate me for like a month or two, but hopefully you will see that the world is so much bigger than you and Michael. And like, to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm just projecting a lot as a parent onto this of like, okay,
Which
one
makes
day
sense.
my child will fall in love with someone and I will have to break it up. Not because the other person is not great. It's just like, yeah, just there's so much more world to see.
Yeah.
Before you, and like so much of yourself to understand as well before settling down and having your forever with someone.
Yeah. Who of us did date in high school? I did not.
I did not.
I did a little bit. I was mostly in love with this boy the whole time, who was like my best friend. Classic.
Classic.
But yeah, my first actual boyfriend was literally like right after graduation. And it was like the
Whoa.
summer before I went to college. And it felt it I feel like because I was like in love with this boy and we were just like only friends, but it always felt like it because he had a girlfriend like the whole time that like for like pretty much all of high school.
Well, that is
But
brutal.
it's brutal, but it was one of those things where it's like I felt like I was his girlfriend from like Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends he like
Ooh.
actually had a
Yeah.
girlfriend because it was like we were so close. Like I feel like we really tiptoed the line of like
Yeah.
I just felt like not like physically cheating on her, but I feel like the way I like remember it, or like when I explained to people like why this like relationship was like so intense for me, even though we weren't actually dating, it felt like he was like emotionally cheating on her with me
Yeah,
because of like
totally.
how, because to me, I was like, this is not just like what friends do, especially when said friend has a girlfriend
Yeah.
kind of
Sure.
thing. So it was like, to me, it was like really intense, but also I felt like at the time, I was like, well, boys just don't like me. They just like, and there was just also where I went to school, I was like, it's pretty slim pickings anyway. And I was really just like, I'm going to go to BYU. I'm going to meet all of
Mhm.
these cool guys. And like everyone dates everyone there. And it's like, so it was nice to have that like boyfriend like right after college. And like we did end things just like he knew I was going away and I was like, and I was going really far too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that I went to high school with like stuck around. Like
Yeah.
they all went to like pretty like close colleges and like did end up like marrying the person they like dated in high school and are still together and are still in Lancaster. And like I love that for them. But I feel like when I was going to BYU, I was like, I know that that's not going to be the case for me.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So short answer, not really dated, but like very much like had those kinds of
Was
feelings for
in
a
a
boy.
relationship,
Yeah.
even though it
Yeah.
wasn't dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And like having those like same feelings about him, but just like not really doing anything about it until later. But yeah, I feel like because I had that boyfriend and it wasn't like I feel like I was never we weren't like in love though. It was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm glad I like did this before college. So it's not like I'm going into college like
Yeah.
never even like touching a boy kind of thing.
Huh.
So in that sense it was nice. I was like, okay, that was great. We did it. Now we can move on to these BYU boys.
The big boys.
Cougars.
Go Cougs.
uh, yeah, Nicole.
I did not. I was too afraid. It takes
Did you
like
have
a lot.
crushes though? Did you have like a
I
big
think I
crush on
did, but I was
them?
also like just busy being like taking over the world kind of thing. Energy was happening. But like I wouldn't say yeah, no, I didn't really date. I went to prom, which was cool. 1 year with someone who asked me. But like that was about it. Yeah, I just didn't I was very busy though. I was like mixing and mingling. No, no. My like and honestly, dating for me, I'm one of those people I can't date chronically. Like the idea of the main character in this book dating someone and then dating someone right after, like going from boy to boy is so foreign to me. It takes so much for me to like someone or to even commit a lot of time to them. And
Mhm.
so, but I do feel very deeply. So I don't know if I can, yeah, I didn't identify with this experience at all as a high schooler. As a woman in my 30s, there were definitely parts where I was like, yeah, I can identify with that feeling of like desperation and being
Mhm.
misunderstood and all that. But like, yeah, I don't know. The weight to relationships now is heavier than it would have been in high school. So I don't know if I
Yeah.
experienced that kind of. I think it'd be nice to date someone without any weight to it.
I
I
know,
don't think that really
right?
can happen very well in our, in our 30s. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different now.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Eden? Did you have any like deep crushes that you were like, oof, I love him?
I was not busy in high school, and I did not date. And what did I do?
What did you do?
I watched a lot of SpongeBob. Uh,
Love that. Yeah, we had different high school experiences.
watched a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I did a lot of driving. Well, yeah, just in high school, drove a lot to my friend's house in Newtown. So that was about a 45-minute drive.
You were just driving.
Former
Nice fun.
guest of the show, Linnea Kemsley.
Mhm.
And because it was such a far drive, we would just like spend just a lot of time, like, yeah, just a lot of sleepovers, a lot of reading. There's this one rocking chair in my living room that had a lot of sitting hours because I would just sit there and read,
Oh, that's
Oh my
cute.
until
gosh,
and
I
like
love that.
wouldn't even get up from my chair to turn on the light because uh, the light switch was too far. So I'd be like reading with the light coming in from the setting sun. I'm just like, I can't see that.
Gosh.
Until someone came by, is like, Eden, what are you doing? And like turned on the light for me. I'm like, thank you.
So, I guess what we're saying, Alyanna, is you were cool in high school, and me and Eden were not.
But I wasn't because he didn't like me. That's how it felt.
Oh,
But
that
I
was
also I
terrible.
also feel like I was very busy too. Like I was all about like every single extracurricular possible. Like
Same,
I
that was
did it
my
all.
problem.
Like I had
Mhm.
the focus of like all of this is just like getting into college. Like that's the only thing that
That's where I
matters. And
was
I
too,
was like
yeah.
so I like look back at the work ethic that I had then. I was like, I wish I still had
Oh my gosh, I
that.
know, but we all burnt out too early. That's what being a millennial is. It's called burning out by
Yeah,
the time you're 20.
I
Mm-hmm.
know.
It is it
Yeah. I do feel like there were times, even reading this, I was like, I wish my parents weren't as strict. I wish they were like, at times I was like, I wish they were like these parents. That just goes to show how strict my parents were because it's like
yeah.
they would warn her about these things, but they still let her date the boy. I was like, I didn't even have that part. Like,
Yeah.
they were so strict when it came to boys. And I was like, guys, you don't even have anything to worry about. Boys don't like me.
Yeah.
But they also like could see what was happening like with me and this boy. So they were also just like, yeah, very steered clear of like that. Most, I think, because my older sister, she was the one who like had
Mhm.
boyfriends, would like sneak around, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I feel like she ruined it for me because then my
That
parents
is
were like,
so real.
then they were
Uh-huh.
like ultra strict because they were like, you can't do any of the stuff she did. I was like, I'm not even in this situation.
Yeah, I don't
And
have the
then when my
opportunity.
yeah, and then my brother came along and like, as a boy and like the baby, all of those rules went out the window. He just like could do whatever he wanted. So I'm like, I feel like as the middle child, I was like, you guys, I'm like doing everything. I like had the best grades between the three of us, like
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I was like, you have no reason to be this strict with me, but
Yeah.
whatever.
What did you guys think in the book, like, on that same, um, idea, the difference between the relationship of what's the protagonist's name again? Catherine and her dad versus her relationship with her mom, because it was mostly, like, her dad that was, like, pretty uptight about everything. And I found that really interesting that Judy made that distinction.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's, like, there's anything significant about it, but I did find that interesting. Like, her mom would kinda give her this side eyes of, like, "It's fine, but don't."
I feel like I feel like that's like and they even say it. It's like, the dads like think the like idea of their like daughters like having
Mhm.
sex with boy is just like like
horrific for them.
horrific for
Yeah,
them.
it's their
But then
worst nightmare.
but then her mom is like more understanding and like open, like about talking about sex with her. I was curious what you guys thought about her giving her that article. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I love the grandma in this situation. I feel like
Yes.
the grandma was like she was like the most supportive in a way
Yes.
that like really shocked me but was really cool. And I think I wonder if that was like something Judy had, because the same thing, it's like the same relationship that the main character has in Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret,
Yes.
where she's so close to her grandma and she feels
Mhm.
like she can talk to her grandma about stuff that she can't with her parents, and she's
Mhm.
so like understanding about it and loves her so much. I was like, that is such a beautiful relationship to have.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel like between the parents, like the dad being that way, like I was like, well, I understand that. I definitely see
Yeah.
like my dad was definitely, well, no, I feel like my mom was always the more strict one. But it's just like I feel like my dad wouldn't touch like boy stuff because
Yeah.
he was like, that it
Yeah.
was too embarrassing for both of us. I knew like where he stood with it.
Mhm.
The most he would get mad is about boy stuff, which is like he's very chill about everything, and my mom's like
Mhm.
the more like strict one between the two. But when it came to like boy stuff, he was like scary when it came to it.
That's so
So
interesting.
That's interesting.
yeah.
Can you kind of explain the article situation so we can talk about it for our readers or listeners rather?
Yeah, so I remember there were just like questions in it about
Mhm.
just like I'm like trying to remember, where it was like
You're doing
just
great.
about like what sex means, what like thinking about like what will happen when this relationship ends, which I remember she was like offended by that one because she
She
was
took
like,
it so
yeah,
personally.
she took it so personally. She's like, why do I have to like think about how this is gonna end, because it's never gonna end.
Not
And
gonna
so
end, mom and dad.
yeah, so I think it was like good on the mom's part because she's not giving her this like, you know, abstinence is the key, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing, but just like here are some thoughtful questions that it's like maybe we're not comfortable talking about them together, but
Mhm.
here's this so you can at least like be thinking about them. Because I don't know if you guys had one of those speakers come to you in high school that would like talk about like STDs and
No, but
like
we did
any of
have
that.
sex ed. Well, we had health class where
Yeah,
we
I feel
talked
like
about that. Yeah.
seventh grade is when we had like health and like a sex ed portion of it. Um, but yeah, I remember when that speaker came, like a lot of us just got like really angry about it. I remember this one girl in particular, shout out Jenny. She went to the principal, is just like, this chick is just saying like really harmful stuff, saying that like abstinence is like just being so strict about it and like not even really giving us the like resources to even like be discussing like safe sex. Her whole thing was just like, nope, like abstinence is key, like just like scaring us in a way that I was like, you do realize you're talking to high schoolers, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's not helpful.
it was so strange. So yeah,
So
Very
harmful.
yeah, mean girls don't have sex.
because you will get
You'll die.
chlamydia and
And then
And
you'll die.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the article thing was really brilliant. I feel like so in my family growing up, when we turned 8, my parents would take us out to dinner. Like I think I've talked about this before on this pod. And they would give us the sex talk and it was so traumatic and I never went back to that restaurant cuz I was like that's the worst thing I've ever learned. But something that was helpful though was that they'd like once you were that age they'd like give you options to read like certain books and like they would just like prepare them for you in like a package and you could read them and ask them questions about it if you wanted to, but it was kind of like at your own pace, at your own time. This is helpful, whatever, live your life. You don't ever have to tell us you even read them, we don't care, but like if you're curious, this is helpful. And I just think like that's a really good way of communicating sensitive topics to each other in a family. In the last pod, in a recent episode with Joe Skelly from
Libby.
overdrive.com, yeah, we talked about how using books to talk about like death or mourning. And if you are not comfortable to say like, I feel this way, you could just be like, this book, I really identify with this book. And that's a really good way of creating a window or opening a window into this conversation. And I think that the mom did that without realizing how smart that was. Or maybe she did know how smart it was. But like, because even if Catherine didn't like it and took it personally, she still got information.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So like, what, it doesn't matter her like feedback loop that she's giving herself, she still got some info that she did end up using later on. So
Yeah, and then after she went to Planned Parenthood, she, like, got all of those resources, and then
yeah.
there's, like, a part where she's like, "I feel like I could teach this to, like, students." She's like, "I feel like I know everything there is to know about sex at this point," which I feel like I was, like, really impressed with her to be, like, feeling the need to, like, educate herself about all of these things
It was
because
so good.
I do feel like, yeah, in high school, you just, like, kinda wanna jump into bed with this guy, and, you know, the only thing you're thinking about is,
Mhm.
like pregnancy. It's like that's like the scary thing.
Yeah.
But then just like talking like I don't know, talking through like all the options and yeah, I was impressed. I was like good on her for like being really responsible as she's like going about this and yeah, just
Seriously.
being thoughtful and I'm very impressed with your parents for like doing that. That's like really cool to me and absolutely not what I had.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, I think also because like growing up Mormon, my mom was just like, "Well, I don't even have to worry about this. Like, you're just this is just not
Oh,
gonna happen." To the point where it's like, you know, of course, like I don't know. I think she like wouldn't even like touch it because to her she's like, "Well, you're just not gonna do that. Like you like that's just not
that's so
happening until
interesting.
then." So yeah, definitely not like the healthiest way at all to like approach those things. But yeah, I was like, feel like I just learned everything on the streets.
I
Like
know,
I
which
wasn't
is
really
not
getting it
always
at
a safe
home.
place to learn things.
I know. But yeah, so good on your parents for doing that. Cause yeah, I'm like trying to think, I was like, I, yeah, I just feel like it was, my mom was kind of the same where it was just like, in a way where it's just like, no sex is the option. Like not even discussing like what safe sex
Yeah.
like safe sex looks like. To
Yeah.
her it was like, well, that's, you know, just
It's
that's
a
not happening.
non-starter, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, that's then that also just makes me terrified, and that's probably
Mhm.
why she did it is to just like scare me into like thinking that is gonna be like the worst thing to happen, and so really not great as
That
like
is so
as a
interesting.
teenage girl to be like getting that, and you get it at church too. That's the thing, and it
Yeah.
just and so yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
it was rough.
You get really mixed messages, I
Yeah,
think, in our culture, and I think especially women do too.
for
Um,
sure.
even, like, men do for sure. That's another conversation, though, but, like, we are also responsible for everyone else's sexuality, supposedly. That's another thing we're taught not only in a lot of religions, but also, like, so like, in pop culture, we're taught that too. Like, that is not just a religious thing, it's probably rooted from that, or maybe the other way around, I don't know, but, um there's an interesting level of accountability that Judy Blume brings into this book where we even though Catherine is pushed a lot by her boyfriend, which also feels very teenage boy energy, um,
Yeah.
yeah, which, like, annoyed the heck out of me. I was like, "I do not want anyone I love to think that that's, like, okay to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't take no for an answer." And every
Mhm.
time you're with them, they just keep saying like, "Well, now are you ready? Now are you ready?" Like, I just don't think that's true consent in the end. But I also understand that it's, like, immature people also not knowing how to communicate or draw boundaries, so there's, like, a lot there, but I do think that conversation about consent, has evolved since the 1970s in how that looks, and
Totally.
how and exactly what women should have the power to say without fear of, like, negative consequences. Um, but I just think, like, I don't know, I would be curious what the male equivalent of this book would be.
So
I know there should be one.
Judy Blume did write one because I went to the librarian and I
Oh, I
said,
love this.
I'm looking for books like this, but for boys. And Judy Blume did write one. and I meant to read it for this podcast, but I forgot about it until
Messed up.
just this moment. But I feel like a teenage boy wouldn't pick it up.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the thing to me. Because I don't know. I feel like boys at that age just like didn't read. Maybe it was just like the guys I was hanging out with, but like I feel the same. I was like, even if there was this kind of book, I don't see a single boy like who I hung out with at the time to even like consider reading something like that. I think that's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I don't know. I would hope that, maybe things have changed, but I feel like, yeah, if this was a thing in high school, I was like, not a single boy that I was friends with would pick this up. I would hope at this point, yeah, there maybe is something, and parents like, yeah, relationship with their kids and talking about these things, just because it's like it's so much more prevalent everywhere. Like these kids can get this stuff at their fingertips, and like even showing my age here, but I was like, well, at that age I was like, no. I was like not doing that. It was just because even like with TV I wasn't allowed to watch those certain things either. But yeah, I just feel like
the OC was with Nicole in college.
I
I was not allowed to watch that.
wasn't really allowed to watch it either, but I watched it secretly on like
same here.
on like a torrent or like some sort of like illegal TV downloading website.
Oh yeah. I remember
issues, I'm sure.
Yeah. I remember like our family friends, there was this like the older brother was like so tech savvy and stuff. He would just like download all of like the OC episodes.
Yeah.
I actually remember specifically because I recently found my video iPod that I had.
Yes.
It still turns on, and I was like looking through it, and I had 3 episodes of the OC on there.
Oh, of course you did. That right there is like the best time capsule I can ever imagine.
It was. I was like, I didn't even
of the OC.
Yeah. I like didn't even want to like do much because I was like, I know that when this dies, I'll never be able to revive it. So I just like I looked at it for like the briefest amount of time just so I could like scroll through and be like, man, look at this music, and like how I like picked like because I'd say 90% of it was LimeWire. And just like Googling the images so I can make my own like album artwork for them. And then like I could see like pictures on there too. It was just, I was having the best time. And like it was engraved with my name on the back and like my Hello Kitty. Yeah. Right. And I had like my Hello Kitty like rhinestone decal like still on there. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is a true relic. Like, so it was just, it made me so happy when I found it and saw that it still worked.
Oh, that is so special. Honestly, I want access to your iPod as well.
It was wild.
Teenage Alyanna. Okay, my takeaways from this book, is I hated Ralph more than I've ever hated anything in my life. Secondly, I was annoyed by the parents for most of it. The section I want to be required reading for every female in the world is the part where she goes to Planned Parenthood and it gets that whole conversation with the nurse. That was incredible. Everything else, I was like, okay.
Okay.
What about you guys?
I feel overall I really liked it. Like I had a fun time reading it. Again, yeah, like I said earlier, it brought me back to like my own high school experience and just like reading something that again like we already said feels so timeless and like still relevant and important. It just like makes me happy that a book like this does exist. Because again, I feel like in the future I would give this to my teenage daughter. I would probably give it to my teenage son too.
I probably would too.
Like I was like, he probably won't read it, but so yeah, I think overall it did just like it brought me back to a place where I was just like, I feel like I can't be too judgmental of these kids because like in the end they are kids and we were all pretty cringy in high school, but
100%.
that's what made it really real and really authentic. Like so yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for me, loved it. I think every aspect of it is just a great way of teaching sex ed or yeah, of sex education for children, for kids. I mean, like going back to the articles discussion that Catherine's mother gave her that article, and Catherine didn't read it, but her grandmother did send her a bunch of stuff as well. And I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like that is like mother is obviously talking to grandmother of like, hey, like Catherine's getting really serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like she probably won't listen to me, but she'll listen to you. Um,
mm-hmm.
and like it could be no, I don't think I'm reading too much into it. But like the power of women in this book of just passing on the knowledge um from generations prior to the current generation, and like the empowerment that that gives the current generation as well. Um so yeah, I'll probably give this to my teenage son as well.
Yeah.
And then tell my mom to send my children's, which my mom would not. It's like, no, Planned
Yeah,
Parenthood.
and then and the grandma was even like, "Don't tell your parents
Yeah.
that I sent you this stuff," which I thought was so funny. I also feel like going back to what you were saying about like women, like
Yeah.
teaching these things. I felt the same thing about, I forget her name, but the older girl who ends up getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like she was kind of like, she was like a bit of a teacher to like Erica and Catherine as well, just kind of in a way that felt like really honest. And I mean, they would, I feel like the very beginning, they're definitely like judging her because they all know that she like sleeps around and stuff. So I do think it was interesting that that was still a part of the story. Like it isn't Catherine's story, but there is like this teenage pregnancy and like that scandal of it, but it's like a secondary part of it. So I'm wondering what you guys thought.
I think it's real. I mean, I remember in high school, there were girls that just like disappeared and we knew they were
Mm.
pregnant, you know? And I like, I don't know what I would do differently now, understanding the stress and stigma and all that stuff that those girls were going through. But like, I do think it's very real. And I think that to talk about sex, especially for teenage girls, and not address the reality of pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
um, is really unfair. I think that's a really cheap experience. I don't think that's very smart or safe. I think you have to acknowledge the implications of sex. Like, I just think that's, you know? And I think Judy Blume did that in a way that was really good of like, yeah, if you're not safe, if you're not smart, like, this is why you do need resources like Planned Parenthood. And not just for abortions, but for like planning and for contraception and like to also just understand what your body is doing because
Mm-hmm.
there's so much ignorance because of the abstinence talks where there's so many people that don't actually know how a baby is made. And that is terrifying to me that they don't know
And I
that.
remember there's like a character in the book that they mentioned too.
Yeah.
There's this, they're like a classmate of theirs who like didn't even know that sex is how you make a baby. And then it's like,
Yeah.
and she's had sex. Like, I
Yeah.
just remember
See,
that
that's
part of it.
really scary. And I
It's
think,
really
yeah,
scary.
knowledge is what keeps people safe. Like knowledge is what keeps people healthy and okay. Because pregnancy is it can be a life-threatening experience for some women.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowledge is power, obviously. I also loved that, like, I forgot all about these contrasting characters. Also, Erica is dating this guy, kind
Yeah.
of, and we don't know his,
Artie.
yeah, Artie. And it's complicated because we also don't know his sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like confusing because Erica feels lied to. Like, the whole thing is very messy and complicated. And I think Judy Blume did a good job in like giving us different ways that this looks or this can
Mhm.
turn out, that not every relationship is going to be this like really packaged, perfect, heteronormative thing with Catherine and
Mhm.
Michael. I cannot figure out their names worth the life of me.
Ralph.
Ew, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, Catherine, Michael, and Ralph.
Uh-huh.
And like it doesn't always look that way. Not all relationships are that simple. Like things get complicated and people have different expectations or understandings or in different places and I don't know, unplanned things happen. I thought that
Yeah.
was really well done in not giving us like everything is perfect.
Yeah,
Same.
totally.
I agree. I really appreciated that the Erica Artie storyline was also in there. Because
Yeah.
like you said, it isn't just like Catherine's experience and like this is everything. Like she's seeing other stuff too. And
Mhm.
it's obviously affecting her. She like they're all friends and Artie's story is pretty tragic and like that I feel like it was all done in like a really delicate way and like a responsible way. Like the way it was written, I feel like again, I was like, this was in the 70s, and she's like talking about this kid who's like confused about his sexuality and like his depression and like suicidal ideations. It was just like it was a lot. And
Yeah.
again, I feel like giving this to a teenager today, I was like, I like yeah, like these things do happen and they're really serious and
Yeah.
it isn't just about you. Like these people around you and like as a good friend you need to be there for them too. So I thought that was I really liked that she included these like other characters and they had their own stories. I'm with you there.
Yeah, I think it would have been irresponsible to not include these different dynamics if she was
Mhm.
trying to write a book that gave a more realistic picture of like a sexual relationship, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think, Eden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a good. It hit most of the things that people like relationship things that people face in high school. So, yeah, just all the messy stuff, all the nice and easy stuff, all the really complicated. Yeah, basically what you two just said.
Perfect.
You guys covered it all.
I do think it helps that this is such a simple story too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that our discussions aren't gonna be like we're not super challenged with like what we're reading and
No.
which is okay. It's just funny because I'm like, well, remember the other book we read? It was just like
That was challenging.
there was a lot more going on there.
Gosh,
Yeah,
at
this
some
one was
point,
very matter of fact.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do we think this book was banned?
Sex. Sex.
Ralph.
Because of Ralph. Ugh, that could have been
It's all
different
his
for me.
fault.
Yeah, I think sex, Planned Parenthood, a
Yeah, I think
decision of
it's probably
abortion.
Abortion. Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like Artie's like because that is also like
yeah.
sexual orientation and like suicidal ideations like that could maybe be part of it, but it is so I don't know.
I
That's another
100%
guess of
think
mine.
that's part of it too. When was the ERA brought to Congress? It was 1970. Let me tell you. It was 1970s. So, it was passed in Congress in 1972. So this was like very recent to the idea that women do have rights and that marital rape is a thing. Like this was during that era, like deep in that era.
Mm.
Um and this is also when the conversation about abortion and Roe v. Wade was like on the news. Which I think is really, really interesting that this is also when Judy Blume wrote this book and published it. I wonder if it could have been published before the ERA stuff happened or if the ERA kind of made way for a publisher to take it seriously, or for bookstores to want to buy it just because it does feel so forward thinking about a woman even enjoying sex and that being in part of a book.
Yeah.
And then to make it like a teenager is also wild. It's very timely, and I also don't feel like we've done very good work in writing books that do the same thing today.
Yeah.
That don't use rape as like a plot point or that don't, use women's pain as a motivating factor for things like
My goodness, one of the books that we have this season, Nicole, I just finished it. It is all that.
what book is it?
Habibi.
Oh no.
Yeah. That one
Oh,
you could probably skip.
I can't. I'm on
Yeah.
top of it. I'm reading everything.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, because I remember when we were doing, so Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was written in 1970. And I remember like talking about periods on TV wasn't a thing until like the 80s.
The first person who used the word period on TV was in a commercial, and it was Courtney Cox, I believe.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yes,
Hearing
yes.
about it.
And it was like a really, really big deal. I'm going to find it. Yeah, she said the word period, and that was the first time it would ever be on television. And that was a Tampax commercial. Oh no, she didn't even say the word period. She said the word tampon. But that was in
Oh.
1985. No one has said period
No
still.
one to this day hasn't even used the term.
No, she said tampon in 1985, and it was crazy for the world to deal with.
Yeah, mid 80s. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. So Forever has been frequently banned because of the depictions of sexual intercourse and because of birth control. So criticisms of the novel often comes from religious groups and pro-abstinence groups who consider the use of the pill unsuitable. Yep. So it is one of the 13 books banned statewide in Utah. And then it was banned.
There's only 13.
Yeah, statewide. So
It's actually shocking. I thought it would be way more in
I think
Utah.
there's a ton that are like challenged and a ton that are banned by
Oh.
specific like school districts or
yeah.
counties,
But
but
this
this
just
is
is
like
the
a
statewide.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then 2024. So yeah, that was 2024 in Utah, 2024 in Texas, by the Katy Independent School District on the basis that the novel is adopting, supporting, or promoting gender fluidity, which there was nothing like that in the book.
No.
That was a classic case of someone didn't read the book.
Exactly. I was like, that's such a specific thing that's not even there. So
Yeah.
I'm like, where did they get that?
Yeah.
That's so strange.
That is so strange.
We also don't get
I
pop culture. There
and I was
hasn't
like,
been
well,
Pansy
Eddie,
Hufflepuff is always
did anyone have a quote that they wanted to share?
no. The
I
Ralph
feel like
stuff
I
really
feel
freaky.
like
You guys get it.
Well,
I
I guess
guess we
okay.
all do embarrassing things when we're in love and like flirting. Like I'm sure if anyone heard
Yeah.
my flirts, they'd be like horrified.
Yeah.
This one I just thought was funny. There are more that are like insightful, but this is when Catherine's talking to her younger sister, Jamie,
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
and let's see. Where she's like asking her like what were you two doing? And like nothing. She's like, I know all about sex. Congratulations. Were you fucking? Jamie, that's not a bad word. Hate and war are bad words, but fuck isn't.
Oh my gosh, I
I
forgot
totally
about
forgot.
that.
I thought it was funny. I was
It
like,
is funny.
Jamie's hilarious.
Also, big statements. Wow,
I
Judy.
know. That's what I was saying. I was like,
1975.
that's
Okay.
right,
That feels
right.
very Vietnam protest kind of quote.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, that's hardcore, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, that wasn't the one I was thinking, but it was there.
Honestly, it does kind of summarize the entire book though. And what we're trying to get at is like, this isn't actually evil, but war and hate are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, this is another one I found. Again, I don't know what's easiest for how you're gonna throw this
We'll
in
figure
there,
it
but
out.
whatever.
It'll be a very creative experience for me, and I'm excited.
But this is when like Michael first told Catherine that he loved her, and she said, I could have said it back to him right away. I was thinking it all along. I was thinking, I love you, Michael. But can you really love someone you've seen just 19 times in your life?
Whoa.
19 times is a lot. Many times though.
I love that she's like, I've seen him 19 times. I was like, that's like totally what I would do when I was younger. It's like, this is the seventh time that he talked to me.
I would do that too. I feel like I did do that in
Yeah.
my last relationship because my partner was gone all the time for work. So I feel like I did count like
Yeah.
the times he
Constantly
was
counting
home.
down the days.
Yeah.
And then there was one at the end that I thought was sweet.
It's very Mean Girls as well, of a on October 10th. He asked me
October 3rd.
October 3rd. He asked me what day it is.
Day it was.
Yeah.
It's October 3rd. Well, this is a good one to end with because it's at the very end. And this is like when it's like after they broke up, but they see each other for the first time. And she like doesn't really know what to tell him because it's just kind of awkward when they see each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I wanted to tell him that I will never be sorry for loving him, that in a way I still do, that maybe I always will. I'll never regret one single thing we did together because what we had was very special. Maybe if we were 10 years older, it would have worked out differently. Maybe. I think it's just that I'm not ready for forever.
That is gorgeous.
So sweet. I know.
So
it's
sweet.
like, it's like, that's a great way to end
Oh.
because it's like, because it's true. And I feel that way about like your first love. You just kind of feel like a part of you is always going to love them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because at that time in your life and the way that you're like feeling about this person, like you're always going to remember feeling that. And like
Yeah.
you're always going to look back with it with fondness, even if, you know, it didn't turn into forever and maybe it like ended in a way that like was really hard at the end, but you'll still have those like feelings at the beginning.
100%.
Because I can feel that. I was like, I don't think like you'll just always have that, and she'll always have that, and it's just like such a special thing. And I feel like as you get older, you like have when you have like more relationships, like you can look back at them with like, you know, that's what it was at the time, and like nothing will ever change that. I was like, that's such a sweet sentiment.
Such a sweet sentiment, and she says that in the face of like and within that like space where Michael genuinely is mad at her, right? For breaking his heart. Like it didn't end in like roses for everybody. Like Michael is heartbroken, which is also really realistic, you know, but being able to hold that and say like, yeah, that's sad, but it is what it has to be. Yeah.
Cue Ariana Grande's Thank You Next as we close.
Yeah. I love that's how it ended, where the mom's just like, by the way, Theo called. The end. It's like, let's go, girl.
Yeah.
But I feel the same as you, Nicole, where I was like, never had that experience where it's like, I was like, oh, after one boy, it's like I could just go. I was like, no, it's like one boy and then just like sad for a long time.
Yeah.
And then another one might show up. But I was like, good for her, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, good for girls who can bounce back fast.
Yeah.
Have that skill set, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's
Happy
okay.
for her.
Not ideal for me, but it's okay. Oh my gosh. This was a fun conversation. I really liked it. So thank you guys.
It was fun.
Thanks, Alyanna.
Oh,
thank you guys for letting me indulge. I feel like I'm just like, hey, I want to talk about this. Let's do it.
I love
because that's what I did with the other one. I was like,
I love it.
Thanks.
Never stop. Keep doing that.
Anytime.
Sweet.
Ooh, amazing.
Hey, okay.
Bye,
Awesome.
guys.
It was fun.
See you later.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Burn This Book was produced by us, Eden and Nicole.
Music was written by me and performed by my dad, Frank. Perfect.